Welcome to Infinite Tunnel, where we unravel the mysteries of our world. Today, we're journeying to one of the most iconic structures ever built, a monument so vast it's been the subject of myths for centuries. We're talking about the Great Wall of China. But what if I told you that much of what we think we know is a simplified, sanitized version of a much darker and more complex story? This isn't just a wall, it's a testament to immense human ambition, unimaginable sacrifice, and surprising ineffectiveness. Let's start with the most common misconception, that you can see the Great Wall from space with the naked eye. This popular myth, which even found its way into textbooks, is simply not true. Astronauts, including China's own Yan Liwei, have confirmed it. From low Earth orbit, the wall is simply too narrow and blends in too well with the surrounding landscape to be visible. Think of it like trying to see a single human hair from 2 miles away. So, if it's not its visibility from space that makes it great, what is it? The sheer scale is a good place to start. The Great Wall isn't a single, continuous barrier. It's a sprawling network of walls, watchtowers, fortresses, and other defenses that stretch over 13,000 miles. To put that in perspective, that's almost half the Earth's circumference. It wasn't built all at once but is the result of centuries of construction under various dynasties. The earliest fortifications date back to the 7th century BC. However, the most famous sections we see today were primarily built during the Ming Dynasty, from the 14th to the 17th century. This is where the story takes a fascinating turn, right down to the materials used. We imagine stone and brick, and that's true, but the Ming builders had a secret ingredient: sticky rice. It sounds bizarre, but it was a stroke of genius. Workers would cook glutinous rice, or sticky rice, to create a porridge. This rice porridge was then mixed into the standard mortar. The secret lies in amylopectin, a type of polysaccharide found in the rice. This organic component combined with the inorganic calcium carbonate in the mortar to create an incredibly strong and water-resistant binder. This sticky rice mortar bound the bricks and stones together so tightly that in many sections, weeds still cannot grow. It was, in essence, an ancient superglue, far more durable than pure lime mortar. But this incredible innovation came at a tremendous cost, and I'm not just talking about the price of rice. The construction of the wall was one of the most brutal and deadly undertakings in human history. It's often called the longest graveyard on Earth, and for good reason. It's estimated that over 1 million people died during its construction. Who were these workers? They weren't just skilled laborers. The workforce was a massive assembly of soldiers, forcibly conscripted peasants, and convicted criminals. Millions were torn from their families and sent to the desolate northern frontier. They faced brutal working conditions, from the scorching summer sun to the freezing winter winds. The terrain was unforgiving, crossing treacherous mountains and vast deserts. Accidents were rampant. Workers fell from rickety scaffolding, were crushed by falling stones, or succumbed to exhaustion and disease. Food and water were scarce, and the overseers were notoriously cruel. For many, a posting to the wall was a death sentence. It's said that the bodies of the dead were not carried home but were simply buried within the wall's foundation or in the ditches alongside it. Each stone, each brick, is a monument to a human life lost. The wall isn't just a structure of stone and rice, it's a structure built on the bones and suffering of millions of anonymous souls. Their ghosts are said to haunt the wall to this day, their stories silenced by history. Now, you would think that a project demanding such a colossal sacrifice would be incredibly effective. That it would be an impenetrable shield against invaders. This brings us to the most bitter irony of the Great Wall. For all the lives it cost, for all the dynasties it bankrupted, it ultimately failed in its primary purpose, to keep out the northern invaders. Specifically, it failed to stop the very people it was most intended to repel during its major phase of construction, the Mongols, and later, the Manchus. The wall was an impressive deterrent against small raiding parties, but it was never a match for a large, determined army. Invaders didn't always need to smash through the wall, they could simply go around it. The wall was not a continuous line and had gaps in its defenses, especially in difficult terrain. More often, however, they got through with help from the inside. Gates were opened by traders or disgruntled generals. Bribes were a powerful weapon, and many watchtower guards were persuaded to look the other way for the right price. The most famous example of its failure came in 1644. A Ming general, Wu Sangui, feeling betrayed by the court in Beijing, deliberately opened the gates at Shanhai Pass, a key fortress of the Great Wall. he allowed the Manchu army to pour through, leading to the fall of the Ming dynasty and the establishment of the Qing dynasty, which would rule China for the next 250 years. The very wall built to protect the dynasty became the instrument of its downfall. So, the greatest military fortification ever built was ultimately defeated not by force, but by human weakness and political intrigue. After the Qing dynasty took power, the wall lost its military significance. The new rulers were the very people the wall was meant to keep out, so they had little use for it. It was largely abandoned, left to crumble and be reclaimed by nature. For centuries, local villagers treated it as a free quarry, taking its stones and bricks to build their own homes and farmhouses. It wasn't until the 20th century, with the rise of Chinese nationalism, that the wall was repurposed. It was no longer seen as a symbol of a failed defense strategy but was reimagined as a symbol of the Chinese nation's endurance and strength. It became a source of pride, a tourist attraction, and a powerful piece of propaganda. The Great Wall of China is a structure of profound contradictions. It's an architectural marvel built with a surprisingly humble ingredient. It's a symbol of national strength that was born from immense human suffering. It was a military barrier that ultimately failed to stop the enemy, brought down by betrayal from within. It stands today not just as a monument to engineering, but as a silent, sprawling tomb and a lesson in the limits of power. The next time you see a picture of the Great Wall snaking over green hills, remember the stories buried within its stones. Remember the sticky rice, the millions of lost souls, and the final, bitter irony of its magnificent failure. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the hidden history of the Great Wall. If you found this fascinating, be sure to subscribe to Infinituneal for more deep dives into the stories they don't tell you.